Hi everyone, how are you? So we're with the Orillia Area CDC, so we're just going to introduce ourselves. So my name is Katie Hannon, and I'm a business and loans advisor. I am actually recently new with the CDC, so I've been there since June of 2024. But I have been with a community futures organization in Northern Ontario for about 9 years prior to this, so I have experience with the community futures organization.
Hi, nice to see everybody today. I'm Susan Stacey. I've been with the CDC for almost 15 years now. Prior to that, I came from a banking background in commercial lending. And my husband has a business, so I do all his bookkeeping, so I'm kind of like the strange numbers person who really likes that. I know many business people don't like that, but I like when we were talking about financial projections, it's like, wow, this is great stuff, right? So something that you really need to do when you're thinking about your business.
So what is the CDC? So we're the Orillia Area Community Development Corporation. So we are here to help your business grow, start, and succeed. We provide counseling, training, and funding to local businesses to support job creation, growth, and innovation. And we also work with many community partners to help do this within the Ontario's Lake Country area to help provide a prosperous, growing, and sustainable area. Our business communities include the City of Orillia, the surrounding townships of Oro-Medonte, Severn, and Ramera, as well as the Chippewas of Rama's First Nation.
So I don't know how many people in the room have heard about us before. Yeah, actually quite a few. So we are a federally funded organization. We're part of the Community Futures program. So there's offices all across Canada. I think there's 267 of us, but you won't find us in like urban centers like Barrie or the GTA or Kitchener-Waterloo. We're just in these kind of rural areas. And the whole idea behind the program was that we're trying to help stimulate job creation and maintenance in our local area. So that's why the federal government has got this program, and our office in particular has been around for 40 years now, so quite a good length of time. We're located at 22 Peter Street South. We've been there I think we've been there about 20 years, so we're pretty much a fixture on Peter Street South in Orillia.
So next up, I'm going to show our activity review video, and what that is we do this every year. We kind of highlight what we do. We highlight some of our clients from the past year, their success stories, and things like that. So I'm just going to have to move the mic to bring it closer to the computer so that you can hear it as well.
At the Orillia Area CDC, we are dedicated to enriching our local economy by providing free business coaching, lending, succession, and employment resources that help foster job creation, growth, and innovation. For over 40 years, we've helped businesses launch, expand, and succeed. It's our privilege and our pleasure to assist individuals and organizations in achieving their goals and building a stronger and more vibrant community.
I'm the co-owner of Bill's Maple Leaf Restaurant. We've been in business since 1981 in this spot. My cousin and I purchased the restaurant. This is a staple in Orillia. We are basically Orillia's second home. We chose Community Features because they walked us through everything. If we had questions, we could go in and they would give us ideas. They walked us through the whole process of buying a restaurant, getting a mortgage. They've just been unbelievable to us. There is no stress anymore. I know that if we need help, they are there to help us because they want us to succeed, and I would recommend them to anybody.
My name is Janet, and I own Sheep Treks. We do sheep walking and allow you to be the shepherd. It gives people a chance to interact with the animals and learn a little bit about sheep and farm life. I had an idea, and I went to the CDC, and we did some brainstorming. We decided that approaching Bayview Wildwood Resort might be a very good solution. Bayview already has the people, the infrastructure. What they didn't have was the sheep. Having a resource like the CDC is so valuable because they know how to take a business from a concept to a reality.
I co-own Puddle Paws Hydrotherapy in Orillia with my brother Randy. We work with dogs who are recovering from surgery, have recurring issues like hip dysplasia, arthritis, who may be old. What we did first, like probably everybody else, is we went to a bank. We jumped through all the hoops. We went through all the documentation. One of my old coworkers said, hey, maybe try out the CDC in Orillia. It was so much easier than dealing with the bank. The money they gave us, we put towards our really, really big expenses that we didn't have the funding for. With the CDC, you feel like you're actually talking to a person and not a facility. They want to help the community come together and keep everything within it.
I'm Lynn Thomas, Chair of the Orillia and Area CDC. I want to express my heartfelt appreciation to all of our volunteers for their countless hours of dedication to the projects, initiatives, and programs offered by the CDC. Your efforts make it possible for us to deliver exceptional service to the business community.
At the Orillia Area CDC, we're proud to be your business success center. When your business succeeds, so do we.
So you got to see a few of our other coworkers that work at the CDC, and Katie and I generally don't fight over the photocopier. They made us do it for the video, so. And I really enjoyed seeing the sheep get into your minivan there. That was awesome. Very cool. So, we're here to talk about some funding opportunities. We'll talk a little bit about us after, but everybody knows you can go to your bank and find a loan, and banks are great, right? I worked at a bank for many years. Banks will be likely your lowest cost source of funding, right? So they're great. There's great people that work at the banks. You can go to the Business Development Bank of Canada. Has anybody ever used the BDC, which is the acronym? They're located in Barrie, and they're a great source of funding, of mentorship, all those types of things. So again, another great organization, and they have people that are local who can help you out in your specific area and come out and see you and all those types of things. So they're another great source. We also have, our funder is called FedDev Ontario, and they actually will do loans to businesses, like some of the larger type loans. So, they're a great source of funding that you could approach for some of your larger projects. Farm Credit Canada. So, you guys would be more familiar with Farm Credit Canada than we are. We don't see a lot of that up here. I haven't in my career. Has anybody had any contact with Farm Credit Canada? You have? Okay, good. Okay, they're another great source who have that, farm expertise in their back pocket, right? So, just a little bit more about us. So, we have, the federal government funds us, right? So we get money to cover our overhead costs, but we were also given a pool of funds, 40 years ago that's available to lend out to businesses. So we call that our investment fund. And again, our mandate is to help businesses maintain and create employment. I'll talk a little bit more about, how we're a little bit different after Katie talks about some grant sources.
So it was mentioned earlier about free money. I know often we get phone calls, people asking, how do you get free money? So the County of Simcoe has done a great job. They have on their website a list of different grants that are currently available, and I believe it's kept up to date often, so they check it quite regularly. If you fill out Becky's survey and you get the slides, you'll be able to get the link to that. The Government of Canada also has the Business Benefits Finder. It's on their website. Again, the link is linked here. You put in your specific requirements of what you're looking for, whether that's financing, whether that's grants, whether that's innovation, things like that. You put in all your information and it will pop up with all the available grants that might be worthwhile for you. The thing though that I suggest strongly is that you read through the requirements as you're going through them, because often the requirements there will highlight if you are eligible or not. And in there you can find different sources throughout the whole Government of Canada, so not just provincial, which what the County of Simcoe probably will show is more provincial funding. And then the CDC has a community capacity building fund, so it is operated through our operations fund. It's held every spring and fall. It's $20,000 is the max pool, but so I think highest that you can get is up to 4,000. But if you're looking at starting a new project, you could reach out to our colleague Celeste. She can provide you with information on whether your business idea will fit within that. Another big suggestion is, I think kind of the main topic for today is planning. You always want to plan your activities first before you just start doing them. I know everyone gets excited and just wants to jump in and start a business or start, doing this new plan. But if you reach out and do, find funding and then you've already started, most likely you're not going to be eligible anymore. Grants want to see you before and approve you before you've even started. So again, planning, do some research, see if there's anything that fits within your plan, and then you can see you'll have to go through the application process. If you're approved, then you can go ahead and start your plan with the funding that they received from them.
So a little bit about how we're different. So, our loan decisions are not made by the federal government. They're made by local volunteers, right? So we have a number of different committees that volunteer with the CDC. You saw Lynn Thomas on our video in review, our year in review, and she's actually our chair of our board at the moment. So it's kind of a neat, I kind of think of it like our loan decisions are kind of like a friendly dragon's den kind of scenario where we talk about the loan request, right? Think about its merits, think how it could help the entrepreneur, that type of thing. So it's a really thoughtful process. We really try and get down to, what would work and what would be good for, the person that's running the business. We have flexible terms and repayment conditions, right? So we look at, what's the cash flow of the business? Is it seasonal, or, do we need interest-only periods for a period of time? Do we need to skip a payment once in a while? So all those things are, things that we are absolutely receptive to. We're very reachable, right? We don't have a 1-800 number at the federal government where you call and you're going to be on hold or whatever, right? You call right into our office and there we are. So we're here to help. Again, we take the time to, look at your financial statements, think about your personal situation. All these things go into, the factors of making, a thoughtful lending decision, to see whether it's really going to help the business to get to where they want to be. We provide ongoing business guidance, right? The Small Business Center in Barrie, they do the same thing. We do it locally here, covering our catchment area, right? So you can come in and talk to us. We've got Dan Landry was in our video. He's maybe a name that's familiar to you. He worked at the City of Orillia in Economic Development. He's a fantastic resource of referring you to people, brainstorming with you, all those types of things. And it's, free to meet with him, right? He loves doing that kind of thing. So take advantage of, these type of resources. We've got an online loan application, which is great. It's really simple to fill out. You go to our website, you submit the application, and that gets the conversation starting. I was just thinking about, just listening to everybody make these presentations, right? Our loans can cover many different things, like the permitting costs. We talked about that, right? The costs of getting the professionals to help you get those permits, right? Insurance costs, if you need to upgrade your website, right? If you need to do marketing, equipment purchases, signage, property upgrades, right? Like we can even do, help you do some construction, right? Like our lending limit isn't huge. We can go up to $650,000 is our max, right? But maybe we can't help you do it all, but we can do a part of it, right? So we do partnership lending with other organizations, say with your bank or with BDC, right, to get you to the level if you're working on a bigger type of project.
So a program that we just launched January 2025 is the Working Capital Fund. So what this is it's a loan up to $75,000. It has an interest rate of a minimum 6%, so it's quite lower than our average, just a normal loan if you were to get through the CDC. We have flexible terms and conditions. The business must be in operation for at least 18 months, so this unfortunately is not for startups, but it is for existing businesses. And there is a limited amount of funds that we have been allowed to set aside from our funder, FedDev, so we encourage people to apply now while the funds are still available. And of course, there are terms and conditions, so just because you apply doesn't mean that you're going to be accepted into the Working Capital Fund portfolio.
I'll just make one comment. Here we're talking about how to diversify your farm operation, right? So if you've got an existing farm business and you want to take it into kind of another path, or like say, the beekeeping or whatever it is, right? That type of program or that type of initiative would qualify under this program, okay? Because it's an expansion of your existing business.
So how can we help? So like we mentioned, a lot of our colleagues do a lot of different things in the office. So Dan Landry does a lot of client consulting. So he often is our first point of contact for clients. He meets with them, he consults them on their business idea, gives them suggestions, things to think about that maybe they haven't thought about. Often, the CDC has a business template, cash flow projection templates. So often those are given out by Dan in that first point of contact. We have a program called Pathways to Employment with a colleague named Katie. So this is for subsidized for employment with youth, which the government defines as, I think, 15 to 30. So if you're looking at maybe getting some subsidized employees for your operations, this might be a good connection through our CDC. We have then the BizLink program. So essentially this is for succession planning. This is for matching buyers and sellers. So I know often in the day-to-day world, you're busy thinking about how to run your business, and then a day comes and you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. So succession planning is very a part of your business plan. As mentioned before, your business plan should always be changing and reflecting of your current times. It's not just created and then it sits on a shelf for 20 plus years. So succession planning often can take a business anywhere to 3 to 5 years. You're getting your books in a row, you're getting your operations, and making yourself less dependent of the business. Like the business isn't dependent of the owner. You have staff in place or things like that, so that the business keeps running without you. So what this does is we were seeing businesses just closing and we didn't want it to happen anymore. So it's helping make those connections so that businesses stay alive. I know back in the day, farming used to be a generational thing. You would pass it off to the next generation, but maybe not so much anymore. Farming, the cost of farming, like buying land is a lot more expensive than it was when our parents bought land. So it's not as easy to transfer that generational business over anymore. So succession planning might be something that you have to think about in the future. We have general business assistance, so that's helping people get their business identification number with the Service Ontario. We help people register for their business number through CRA and maybe things like HST numbers, payroll numbers, things like that. So we can come in, help you do that, because everything now has moved online, and sometimes the government's websites can be daunting trying to navigate through that. So we help that. We do that for free through our offices. And then throughout the year, we often have professional development workshops and seminars, and we have a big lunch and learn session in the fall. So often there's either free or low cost things that you can either attend in person or attend virtually to help learn about different things throughout the business. Any questions? So we have two streams that we're funded by. So we have our investment fund, which helps the loan service, but then we also have an operating fund that we get from the government. So the government is paying, like our operating fund pays for us to run. So we have a very low cost of service to operate. That's why we can do a lot of these services for free.
Any interest that's made by the loans goes back into the investment fund, and then it just, hopefully creates more money available to lend out to the community. So that's the idea.
Yeah, what I was asking is, like, would you be able to help out even though the corporation or whatever didn't necessarily get a loan with yourselves?
Say that again, sorry?
What I was asking is, you will be willing to help and consult and do all those other things that you said for free, even though the corporation may elect to get a loan from a different...
Oh, yes, definitely. Absolutely. Yeah, we're not just about loans, right? I mean, that's a small part of what we do, right? There's all these other elements, right? Yeah, it's not just about the loans, for sure.